How often do we get the opportunity to call a change or a rollout a wild success? What goes into ensuring that our teams are performing the right activities to drive the metrics we care about? Sometimes, when we roll things out, ensuring the change happens the right way in our business can get really expensive. It can get resource heavy and challenging to execute. Other times, it's not. Today, we're going to share a couple real life examples where believers in the business were already pulled on to create a great operational excellence program that had a massive positive impact on the numbers the business cared about. And as usual, we'll go into 3 ways to put this into your business. What I want to add as a note here, it's important to think about a program like this when you already have a good culture, where people feel cared for, understood, and incentivized well before a program like this is implemented. Hi, I'm Penny Cook, a fractional COO and strategic operations consultant, helping product and consumer brands install, upgrade, and run scalable operations and operational systems that reflect the founder's unique vision and ambition.
I'm Sarah Wilson, fractional COO and operational turnaround partner for SMB. I help businesses struggling with complexity and challenges within their operational core. I work with founders to install scalable, repeatable processes that help unlock growth with the tools and teams they already have. So I love this topic, Penny. I have a really great example that I wanted to share with our listeners because it really hones in and is a really great example of what we're talking about. So I was working with a retail organization with over 100 locations across Canada, and managing inventory was something that had been a challenge within the business for a lot of years. So as a new executive in that company, I had inventory reduction as a metric that I needed to focus on right away. So I did a number of important things. So first, we had an increase in visibility to the metric itself. So we went from a kind of manual on the side of someone's desk report that was published every so often to a live up to the minute dashboard of what the important operational metrics were. We also refreshed the operational excellence programs. The company had one in place already, but it was just actually only awarded once a year. We went and developed a program that was awarded once a quarter. And then the entire new program itself came with a pretty significant training program. So, because we had, of course, built this really great tool that gave us visibility, and that we were changing, how the pricing was awarded and how we were calculating those important business metrics, it was more important than ever to make sure that those managers were prepped, ready, and they understood what did good look like in the new program. I'm really, happy and proud to share that once we went live on, fiscal, first day of the fiscal year, by the end of the month of that launch, vast improvements on several operational metrics. One of the ones I was, of course, the most proud of was that inventory numbers. I was able to get a reduction in inventory of 25% year over year, so from the prior year, and maintain that improvement going forward. So that's a great example of what we're talking about in real life.
Yeah, Sarah, it's such a good example of how culture and performance are connected and the importance of emphasizing the culture and the performance that you want to see in your organization feeds on itself, and it can breed the results that you want to see in your organization, which really helps us boil down tip number 1 that relates to the success that you had in the story, which is teach the number before you chase the number. What
Yes.
are the metrics that are important? Like what are the things that we should care about and why? Floor teams, in your example, for example, don't care about the shrinkage percentage. I mean, maybe they kind of care about how the business are doing, but really they're there to get their job done. They're there to execute on what what their specific job is, they don't care about shrinkage. They care once they understand the ramifications of it that we lose items for sale, we have frustrated customers, and eventually, these are going to have financial implications on the company. It could result in store hours getting cut or different levels of inventory being available that affect their ability to do their job. And when it becomes personal and they see the connection to their own success and it's tied into the organization's success, then you start to get real engagement, right? It becomes important to share the why and the number that we're.
Exactly. Penny, that's such a well outlined. And what was interesting about the education program is the stores were keeping inventory on hand more than they should have for good business reasons. Like they really wanted to be there for their clients that came in and made sure, we have what they need on the shelf. So that I think is a very noble endeavor. But it took some learning about what does that inventory on the shelf mean? So it just that extra piece of education was key. And that brings us, of course, to the next tip. So, really making the recognition bigger than the reward. I don't know if I actually was super specific when I shared the example, but what the reward was quarterly was as simple as coffee and a pastry. So, kind of nominal when it comes to an actual spend for a reward, but it was wildly successful with the team. They were really, really passionate about the prize, but I came to realize that it wasn't actually really about the spend. It was about the recognition and the competition of that new program. And it makes me think of this. If you've ever heard the term gamification, what does that mean? That gamification is another way to think of how do you make something sticky? How do you make within your operations team? How do you make something sticky? And Penny, I think you have a really great example here.
Yeah,
What
yeah.
gamification looks
I
like
love that
in
analogy.
practice.
I love that analogy. You can look at video games and the way you can earn badges and, you want to come back and achieve levels. I mean, there's no real larger monetary incentive there, but they've gamified it to make it sticky. And I love that analogy. Gamify your operational team. Decide the things that you want to see them achieve and put milestones there. Put things that are recognizable. And I've done this a couple times with technical teams where we were looking for the members of our team to achieve different milestones for our clients. And every time they achieved one, they got a little trinket that they were able to keep on their desk, and they looked like little stars, and we etched them in with the thing that they achieved. And so when you sat down with somebody at their desk in person, you were able to see, oh my gosh, you've worked on all those projects and had all those things, and they started chasing them. Like
Mhm.
we gamified what they were achieving. So it wasn't just you want to be excellent in your job because you want to be excellent in your job, but like, hey, we have a culture here of collecting these things and moving in a direction. They knew exactly what good looked like because we were rewarding it. They valued it because we valued them as employees, and they valued those things for each other. And we allowed people to really amass a lot of cred and seniority in a visible way. And it cost us next to nothing. I'm going to say it was so inexpensive to run this project that it barely hit the budget, but it really affected people's behavior and their enthusiasm for taking on new and different projects too, and the rewards that it held for them.
And that recognition piece is, I think it's so, I'll be honest in my example, and it sounds like you might share this in yours, the surprise that the recognition had such a material impact on the team. Like that was a lesson that I've taken away and kept with me and applied in other situations. But I really didn't realize that that was as important to people as it was until I saw it in action.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. And I want to emphasize here that it really is important to have that positive culture to put this on top of. Because if you're looking at line workers who feel like they're underpaid and you toss them pizza once a quarter, they might feel that that's disingenuous and it might have the opposite effect. So you really want to have the rewards and this recognition system match the culture and the way your employees think to move that program forward.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Now,
what else do we need to do to make it successful, Sarah?
we need to build the rhythm like any good program, any good rollout. We need to go beyond just kind of the shiny lights of the start and really make something that we can hold on to. So, this is really where I would say that a program like this has kind of the biggest risk in it. And the thing you want to keep your eyes on is the rhythm and the timing of when this gets rolled out. So if you've committed to every quarter, for example, that you stick to it and that gets rewarded every quarter. And it really shows that not only if this matters to the employees, like in the examples we just shared, you as the leader need to show your team that it matters just as much to you.
That's right. Consistency and regular cadence really matter. If you're looking at doing this once a year, they're going to forget. It's going to be different people. That's not a feasible cadence, but doing it quarterly, doing it monthly, or doing it every time a project hits a certain milestone when you know those are happening regularly.
Yes.
Those are little pings in your organization that kind of keep that thread alive culturally and keep the desire to keep moving forward alive. The 3 points, just to quickly review, helping the team understand the why. What numbers are we chasing? Why are we chasing them? Why is that impactful? Making the recognition the biggest part of it. So it really is appropriate to the team and the culture you have, and then building a good cadence around it and making sure that cadence is operationalized. It doesn't have to be expensive. It doesn't have to be complicated. It really can be a gift card or a trinket, but the genuine nature around it, the fit to your culture, and the ceremony that you put around it makes that a space that your team is going to want to be a part of. So if today's conversation sparked something for you, hit us up on LinkedIn, visit our websites. This is what Sarah and I do. We would love to come help your organizations with this. Please subscribe to the podcast if you haven't already. That helps us immensely. And, never miss an episode because great businesses don't just happen, they operate on purpose.
Thank you so
Thanks
much,
for being
Penny.
with us today. Thanks, Sarah. That was fun.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.